Hello, Cosby here today. In 8 months, yeah, it's been 8 months. It's been 8 months since the last reaction, and we're going to react to whatever this is. I forgot the title of it already. And I'm here with GermanKitty. I'll just call you Kitty.
Hello.
We're doomed. Oh, it's called Oddities. I don't know what that means. I'll be honest. Oh, yeah, it's the whole copyright thing. There we go.
Oh. It's you.
You've completed the crash course on theatre and wine, have you? Feeling smug, are we?
I love
Deserving
this
of
guy.
love, perhaps? Worthy of eye contact.
First time seeing me, actually.
That's
Oh.
cute. But there's still a lot more work to be done.
Oh, wow.
Look here. These shoes are
What a
made
shoe.
from real Italian leather. This bag
Wait, what makes
is
the
made
leather
from the
Italian?
leather
Because it
of
just comes from
real
Italy?
Italians.
Oh.
Impressed? How about this fur coat? It's made from the wolf of Wall Street. An Xbox with the original PT demo still installed. A signed first edition copy of Moby Dick with its little known sequel, Moby Balls. And last but not least, the squid from Squid Game.
Oh my fucking god.
Don't you get it? Oddities. Weird stuff. I mean, the first section's on perfume. Listen, I'm gonna level with you. I kind of got distracted.
Oh.
And we went off topic. I don't even know what this is about anymore. Here's my Netflix stand-up special. It should explain everything.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be a hard act to follow. That Kramer guy has some very good one-liners. But I've got some jokes lined up. Question. Why is perfume so expensive? 'Cause you have to pay perfume. Why do they call it cologne? Have you ever smelt one of those? It ain't great. Oh, mic must not be working. Deodorant? In this market, I'd want a deodor buy. Is this thing on? Okay, let me tell you the story of perfume. See, to be fancy, people wanted to stink good, but people naturally stink bad. It's science. So in the beginning, people went to the garden to find the best-smelling things that they could. Here's a photo of the oldest perfume bottles ever found. And what's inside?
4,000 years.
Just garden stuff that smells nice. But we did not just stop at that, because the story of perfume is the story of progress.
Uh-huh.
By the time Cleopatra came around, perfume science had really advanced. You see, Cleopatra loved perfume. In fact, it was said that she had a whole perfume factory.
Oh.
The olfactory, I believe they called it. But this factory wasn't just mashing flowers. They were using emulsifiers, adding resins, creating tinctures. Cleopatra's very own Chanel No. 1 contained cardamom, cinnamon, olive oil, and myrrh.
Cinnamon.
So we've gone from garden to pantry. And she loved spritzing the stuff everywhere, supposedly even spraying it all over the sails of her ship. That
Oh,
way people
God.
could smell her from miles
Oh
off
my
as she
God.
I
sailed
would
them.
die on that ship.
I would
By the
not
early
survive
Middle
that.
Ages, we had figured out
Is
the
that-
formula for perfume. Effectively, there are three main components.
Oh.
Water, alcohol, and the most important bit, the aromatic oils.
Wait, is there really that much alcohol in perfume?
Yeah.
Huh.
And by the way, perfume and cologne are actually the same thing, but in different ratios of these ingredients. By the 1600s, they were trying all sorts of different things. Some things went well.
Just
Dude.
fucking just tossing everything in it.
Pine.
Oh, that's what I've been
Fine.
doing as a child.
What about orange? I call it new car smell. But once global trade opened up, our tastes became more exotic. Out of the pantry and into the petting zoo. For you see, it turns out that animals have been hoarding all of the most bestest perfume smells.
Hold up.
Yeah.
No.
In the olden days, a bunch of manly men would brave very rough seas in order to pull aboard sperm whales. Now, they would cut open the digestive tract and pluck out a secretion of bile called ambergris, or in English, grey amber. Sometimes they would harvest the rest of the whale, but eventually ambergris became so valuable that it was simply more economical to dump the carcass back in the ocean and collect the next batch. Like when you kill a racehorse for its prize-winning jizz and then just leave it there on the tracks.
What an analogy.
All right, quick science lesson, eggheads. Ambergris comes from the gross part of the whale. And when the whale eats something quite sharp, let's say human bones, the ambergris forms around them and protects the lining of the gut. That's the ambergris' role. That way, as the sharp thing continues down the intestines, the whale doesn't get poked. But if ambergris comes from a whale's digestive tract, what does it smell like? Surely not good. When it's dry, it smells kind of woody and earthy, but when it's wet, it smells like ass. But it's not actually the smell that's the useful function. Ambergris is a fixative. So what it does is heighten and bring out the scent of other things. These flowers, they smell all right, but add some ambergris and, that's the one. Now, once they figured this out, they realized, there's a whole bunch.
So you're just telling me everyone's just putting whale shit on them?
Yes. Oh my god. Ah, ah, I can never see perfume the same. Oh no. But I will still use it.
Wow.
Just with the knowledge that I'm using more shit on me.
We can use a fixative for. And they got quite gross with it. They added it to food.
I'm annoying other people with their
In fact,
information.
it was said that King Charles's favorite dish was ambergris on eggs. But they didn't stop there. They added it to rum, they added it to coffee, they added it to cigarettes and smoked it, and they used it as an aphrodisiac. Now, some people will say that a whale is a mammal, but that's not strictly true. It is in fact a fish. Just look at the tail. And you may have also heard that there are a lot fewer of them these days, which, although a relief because their absence helps offset the sea level change, climate, whatever, we were worried that we might run out. So we said no more hunting whales for ambergris. But did that stop the perfumers? No. They immediately asked, hey, do you think there are any other animals that smell kind of weird? Yes. Turns out the musk deer has some potential. Now, we hunt the male musk deer specifically because it has a particular gland called a musk pod, which, when dried out, looks like this.
We're taking something
and
from
it uses it to mark its
the
territory
balls area?
and attract mates. Now, don't worry. Unlike ambergris, this doesn't smell like ass. Instead, it smells like ammonia and piss. You just can't get a smell like that. So we started hunting them to the point where they were a protected species. So the authorities said, you have to find a different animal. So from there, they moved on to hyrax feces. One of the most feared and dangerous animals in all of Africa. And it was the inspiration for the original Lynx Africa smell. Now, their feces, when dried, is called hyracium, or Africa stone. But it's not just these ones, they have other stones in Africa. Come on, guys. Now, the smell is fairly similar to deer musk, but unlike the deer, the hyrax doesn't need to be killed or disturbed for their feces. They're just giving it away. In fact, hyrax even have a communal toilet, which is used for generations, which makes it very easy to collect up all the good stuff. But it's not just the hyrax, I've got other animals. Remember those civets from the virus video?
So people are just sitting here and scoring shit and piss on themselves before they go out.
Well, there is a coffee that is made with, like, feeding it first to an animal and then using the beans from the shit.
Videos. Wait, don't wash that thing's anus. Mom, get the bottle. Turns out it's the anal gland of the civet that's actually the
Why are we
important
going
smell of
around
death.
just...
Who's figuring this out? Why don't we use the good parts of the animal?
Who's figuring this out? Yeah, that's my question too.
Anyway, it's the ass that produces all the delicious musk.
It smells like shit.
But it must be good for something because it goes for $4,000 a kilo.
Let's catch some animals.
But we ain't done yet. You know when you've just killed a beaver and you cut open its ripe abdomen? Well, the reason it smells so good is because of a little gland called the castor sac, which makes a yellowy scum-like substance called castoreum. And it is used to waterproof the beaver's fur coat and also mark its territory. It is also very fragrant. And you know what that means. If it smells, it sells. And in this case, castoreum is more kind of leathery, with smoky hints of vanilla. But unfortunately today, we're not allowed to harvest the beaver. They're walking around very smugly, just like the other protected animals. But you know what? We don't need them, because we have a synthetic version of castoreum now, and it's just as good. And you know what? We've got a synthetic for the whale, the deer, and the civet now. And they're used in lots of mainstream perfumes.
Thank God.
Modern day, we've got a synthetic version of practically everything. And even better, the advancement of synthetics has opened up a huge range of smells that were never possible.
I still don't understand perfume. I do not like the smell of it.
There's some very silly perfumes.
You don't like my perfume either?
You know that bacon
No,
pig?
I do not like the smell of perfume, not even a little.
Pretty much anything you can think of.
It just doesn't smell right.
A fragrance of it. In some instances, where even beating nature herself created a fragrance.
Like a flame grill. Hey, babe, you smell like a rapper. Can I have a slice of you?
No, I
in some instances, we're even beating nature herself. For example, you know those roses that you get at the florist? And then people go, ah, these smell beautiful. But actually, those roses are not bred to smell good. They're so specialized for good looks, longevity, and disease resistance that they've practically altogether lost their smell. So often what the florist will do is add an additional scent to the flower
Yes, that is actually true, but the roses in my garden smell really good. Without that weird spray.
I've been lied to.
Spray.
picking. And typically it's synthetic rose
So please get me roses with not this artificial smell.
Yep,
Thanks.
we're just that good. And what's the future for perfumes? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is it's going to involve some comedy gold.
Oh, God.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. My wife asked me for Chanel No. 5, and I was like, not right now. I'm watching the football. You know, on the television. You know what? I am going to say it. If it's good enough for Kramer, it's good enough for me.
No!
Ad time. This Christmas, she works in the big city.
Busy professional, my career, this and that.
But she's going home for
VPN
Christmas.
Small towns are the worst. I'm a big city career gal. Oh my God, are you okay?
I am now. And she's about to learn the meaning of Nordmas. The most VPNist time of year with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian. Ha 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 ha. Soon I will have installed public Wi-Fi in all of Nordville, and once they use it, their private data will be exposed. Governor Craven's got this town by the baubles, and I can't believe that big city company you work for works with him.
Come on, we have to put up the Nordmas lights for the big Nordmas festival.
What? Let's go ice skating. What?
He's so cute, but I'm a city girl.
Girl, you sound like you're in love.
I thought I knew what Nordmas meant, but it means nothing without you.
It's like the end of March.
What are we watching here?
That's a really good question, I know.
Huge discount on a 2-year plan. Use the URL.
Well, at least he put some effort in this.
Oh no, you should see the other ad. That's so much better.
Now I love small town, and I'm in love with Nordman. But I can't leave behind big city Korea.
True love and a really good VPN don't come around too much. You gotta take a chance.
Boss, I don't care about making partner at the firm anymore. I've found my new home.
Big public Wi-Fi is spreading across the
I don't
city.
think this is so easy.
Nordmus will be ruined.
Ho, ho, ho. Need a hand?
How are we gonna stop him, Nordman?
With this Nord-themed brick.
I love you, Nordman.
And I
That's
love
straight
you,
up
big
murder.
city woman. Let's go home and
That's
watch the
straight up
international
murder.
Netflix catalog. It's a Nordmus miracle. Go to nordvpn.com
Not a miracle, it's murder.
to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus Nordmus months.
Nordmus.
You know, that ad makes me think about the time I nearly had a wife. Feels like a lifetime ago now. I was in Japan, living the digital nomad lifestyle. I had a startup selling seashells down by the seashore. But I broke the one rule of being a digital nomad. I got mad. Digitally. And that's when I saw her. It was love at first sight. I remember her laugh. Her touch. Every morning, breakfast in bed.
Yeah, I had touch.
But the truth was,
His
I had no
entire
money.
face.
We couldn't live on love alone. So I left. I sought out.
Oh, why can't I hear anything?
Why did the audio break? Wait.
Oh.
No, I think the
But the
audio
truth
didn't
was,
break. I
had
think
no
something
money.
got
We
copyrighted.
couldn't live on love alone.
And he had to mute that part
So
of the
I left.
video.
I sought out.
Yeah, okay, he had to mute this part of the video. Wait, you here?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. My microphone just didn't pick up. Ah.
And I bet you're wondering
that
how I
makes sense.
finally struck it rich. Well, truth is, I'm the guy who invented the Joe Rogan podcast. Once I became a gajillionaire, I went back to that
Don't worry
beach to
about it.
try and find her.
7-Eleven.
But instead, I hit her with my boat.
Oh.
We never found her body. But she had a secret. One she took to her grave that I was sworn not to tell. She's not around, so... Dude, she was a mermaid! Come on, champ, we're going to Japan. And here's where it all begins. In the year 2022. It's a Tuesday, probably. And
Yeah.
local folklore researcher Hiroshi Kinoshita is looking up some fantastical animals in the National Yokai Dictionary. It's like the bestiary from Witcher, right? And he comes across a photo negative of a mermaid mummy. Oh my god, he says in Japanese. Upon seeing the mermaid, he knows that he must track it down. He must form a team. Researchers, assemble! So he gets together the best damn crew that he can from the University of Science and Arts at the Okayama Prefecture.
Oh god, are they really
And he
dancing?
plans to track down the mermaid mummy, wherever it has escaped to. Now, it doesn't take
Why
him
is there
long to
from the
figure out
Disney
that
movie?
it's being held at the Inuin temple in Asakuchi. You know the one. So he struts up to the sacred building. And there at the back of the temple is a fireproof safe. And inside of that is an old wooden box. And inside the old wooden box was the mermaid. We found it! We found a real one! But where did it come from? Well, alongside the mermaid was a note that dated back from 1903, and it said, a dried human fish, aka Ningyo, was caught almost 300 years ago over in the seas of Tosa. It was then dried out and taken to Osaka. And from there, it was passed around to many different people until it arrived at the temple. Now, the Ningyo have an important history in Japan, and sightings of these half-fish, half-human creatures have cropped up all across the country. Kinoshita himself had personally tracked down 13 of them all across Japan, usually kept in museums and temples. However, what you might not know is that traditionally they have been associated with bad omens.
It's a fucking fish.
And everyone
puzzle. Makes
knows the
sense.
infamous tale of Yao Bikuni. but I'll recite it to you just in case. So the story is that one day, a poor fisherman catches the biggest fish of his life. It was a strange-looking fish,
Oh god.
and its head was almost human-like.
Oh.
But he brought the fish home and invited all of his friends and family to come over for a feast to celebrate his largest catch. You know, he's got his arms stretched out like this. He's like, it was this big. No, it was this big. I swear, it was this big. During dinner,
That was about yay
one
big.
of the guests sneaks into the kitchen
Yeah,
to
big.
see just how big it was. This big? I can't believe it. And he discovers that it is actually a niño. Oh no, he says in perfect Japanese. Now he quickly warns the other guests, don't eat it. And he warns them just in time. Teishi. They've got their fork like right up to their mouth. Teishi eating that. Teishi, don't do it. They throw all their food away. Let's just have some rice and drink the night away. Okay, so they do. And they have a lovely evening. However, one very dishonorable guest decided to sneak a bit of the meat out of the trash and put it in his pocket. He then goes home drunk and falls asleep. He didn't eat it. But when he woke up the next morning, he checks his pockets and... no! The delicious fish piece is gone. Turns out, in the night, his daughter had been rummaging around in his pockets looking for treasure, and she found the meat from his pocket. And she was such a greedy guts that she decided to eat it then and there. The father was
Who goes to looking at someone's pockets, finds fish meat, and be like, I wonder if this is so good, and just starts fucking munching on it. Like,
Well, apparently her.
look, I guess it's a tasty snack. Like, why not eat it? What do you lose if you, like, you know?
terrified
Yeah,
for
I
his
read
daughter.
them not.
But
I
she
have
didn't seem
no
to be
idea
sick.
how long it takes.
Do you feel weird at all? And shaking her. He decided not to tell her anything. Maybe it'll all be okay. However, from that day forward, the daughter never aged. That's right. She remained a young adult forever. She eventually went on to marry. But as her husband got older, she stayed the same age. Eventually her father got old and died. And soon enough did her husband too. Everyone she ever knew was getting older and dying, but she remained the same age. She was immortal. Eventually, at age 120, she decided to shave her head and become a Japanese nun. She traveled the country, planting trees as she went, and she did this for 800 years. But eventually, she grew tired. You know what? I'm tired of living. She entered a cave in her hometown of Obama. And she was determined to never come out again. She begged and prayed for the curse to end, but it never did. She sat in that cave for so long that she turned to stone.
Sure.
And today, at the Kuinji Temple in Obama, remains the cave that Yao Bakuni entered. People have been into that cave to check whether she's still in there, but nothing was found. However, a stone statue of her resides at the entrance. And colloquially, it is called the Barack Obama. So we're back with Hiroshi.
Sorry.
He asked the Indian temple
Stay
if he
serious
could
with that name.
borrow the knee.
I just can't.
Look, let me do a little CT scan on it, right? And they agreed. Hiroshi hands the Nino to a team of scientists, and they get to work. They do their tests. Beep, beep, boop. Control plus scan on the keyboard, and here are the results.
It's stage 4 cancer.
No, but really, turns out the Nino dates back to the 1800s. The note that said it was from the 1700s was wrong. Its body is made from cloth and cotton, wrapped in pufferfish skin. The tail was made from a croaker. I don't know what that is. Can we show that on the screen? With the mouth of a
Like a
different fish and the hair of a mammal. And they can see that there's a metal nail in its back. Oh my god, it's invented tools. The forensic analysis and the construction materials in its back did cast some doubt over its authenticity. But you gotta believe in something, damn it. As promised, the Nino was returned to the N Temple, where it still lives today. But where, oh where, did my mermaid go? It's her! You're back! You know what, I kind of missed you. And what the hell is that?
Daddy.
You know what, I never did find her again. I think these things are a big myth.
Okay.
We're here on the ancient streets of Cairo, and there is our destination. In these triangles, the greatest luxury that all the elites crave. Oh god, no, not that. The second most thing that mummies.
I don't know, actually.
You can find them in these tombs, and there's only ever like one dude guarding them.
What is the first
Before
one?
we take,
no idea.
we must understand.
The
Mummification
treasures?
started
I think
over
so.
5,000 years ago, and they were first discovered by the Europeans in the 15th century. Legend
We've
goes,
discovered
the
them
locals
first.
knew about them even earlier than that.
Yeah, that makes sense, you guys. Of
It's an
course.
elaborate process, but essentially, you're drying the person out, turning them into a human salami.
Oh,
So when the Europeans
Why did you have to
found
call
all
it
this
a
Delicious.
human salami?
what do you think they did?
Delicious
Put it
human
in a
salami.
museum,
No,
right?
the stores.
Wrong. They used these mothers for everything, and everybody wanted them. What do you mean they used them for everything? Well, fancy people would take whole mummies and show them off to their friends at fancy dinners.
What? Oh yeah, I love eating my food while having a rotting corpse just in front of me.
No, technically it's not rotting anymore. It's just a corpse that's been like dried. It's dried
But
age. It
how-
got that Manami taste to it, you know?
But the smell. What would be the smell?
I don't want to know. You want a piece
Oh my
of it?
god!
You want a piece of the thigh though?
To really
Time to have a fancy dinner. Let's get a mummy.
show off the owner's wealth, they would sometimes unwrap them too. They were used as
Oh.
paint.
No, don't unwrap mummies.
Imagine,
Cursed.
imagine dying and being wrapped up, knowing 3,000 years later some European is gonna dig up your grave and make paint out of you.
Well, at least you can be art.
Of course, it's from fucking London. It makes so much sense that English people are doing this.
They call this
Yeah.
mummy brown, by the way.
Mummy Brown.
Mummy.
They were used as fertilizer.
Oh man, talk about
Oh, neat mummies.
supercharging your soil.
They were
And of
even
flesh.
consumed.
Mind if I do?
What?
No, not like this. By grinding them up into powder and taking them like a
Oh
herbal
my God.
supplement, which they called mumia.
Mumia. Okay.
But with such high
Okay.
demand for your mum, after a while, they began to run out of stock.
Yeah, of course they are.
They were becoming rarer and
what is-
rarer to find. They were being gobbled off the face of the earth. So the authorities passed a bunch of laws to protect mummies from becoming altogether extinct. These are the last two of their species, and they're both male, but they won't mate. No. But the mummy is much
no.
like the Tasmanian tiger. Every once in a while, one will just kind of show up and prove that they're not altogether
the door.
extinct. The year
no.
2013. The location, Diefels in northwest
Oh.
Germany.
Deepos.
We are at the Kettler household, owned by grandfather Kettler, who is now dead. But he had a son, Lutz Kettler.
That is actually
and
pretty
Lutz Kettler
close.
also had a son, Alexander
My
Kettler.
region.
And they are both
Okay.
there at the
Yeah.
house. After a rainy day, there was a leak in the roof. So 10-year-old Kettler gets up into the attic to explore. You know, have a bit of a look around. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Old antiques, photographs, and, some old roof tiles. Those will be useful. So he goes over to the roof tiles and, behind them is something strange. A box.
Oh?
A mystery box. Now, the kid is smart and he's seen Jumanji, so he knows not to touch the box and instead go tell his dad. Now, the dad drags the box into the center of the room. And he opens it. And inside, a smaller box. But it's very curious because it is covered in hieroglyphs. So, Lutz crosses his fingers, hoping nothing supernatural will happen, and he opens the inner box. Inside is a mummy.
A mummy in it. Oh my god. Your Germans had a mummy.
Oh my god. But there's more. There's also two smaller boxes. One contained a death mask, and the other a canopic jar. All right, so he might have a dead body in the house now. So naturally, he calls the authorities. The police show up and ask some questions. Lutz then explains a little bit of backstory. He remembers that in the 1950s, his father went to Derna in Libya. There, he acquired a chest and had it shipped back home. He remembers a conversation about it, but Grandfather Kettler insisted that it was a replica.
Das ist ein Replica, son.
Not a real mummified person. Now, at this point, the police did not think it was a real body, but it was worth getting it scanned just in case. So he loaded it up in his station wagon, and off he went to the Berlin Archaeological Institute. Now, they agreed to do a scan, and so they're fiddling with buttons and dials and stuff, and it's fake, right? It's fake? Well, here's where things get a little more dramatic. Results inconclusive. There is a fully formed skeleton here. Now, that is unusual for a fake. Often a fake will just be shaped like a person, then filled with sticks and cloth and rubbish. However, it got even stranger. They found that all of the bones were wrapped in some sort of metal plating or foil. Next, they looked at the skull, and that's where things were the most odd. It was very realistic. Its teeth had roots. Its form was more intricate than the typical fake. It also had a laurel, but even more notably, there was an arrowhead lodged in the eye socket. Now that is very unusual.
It might be a soldier or worker.
Hold on, I got more evidence to do. So they're doing more tests and stuff. All right, we've carbon tested the linen wraps. What's the verdict? Well, those are from the 1900s. Now the plot is thickening. We have a supposed fake mummy, but with a very realistic skull, perhaps murdered by an arrow to the head and bandages that date to the modern day. That presents a new problem, because it's not unheard of for people to do a murder in the modern day and then cover things up by disguising the body as an ancient artifact. For example, in the year 2000, there was a man who claimed he found the mummy of an ancient Persian princess, the daughter of Xerxes. However, when they examined the body, they found it was, in fact, a potential murder victim from 1996 who died from bludgeoning. All right, so the police now actually have to get involved, and it's about to get even more complicated. So they confiscate the body and they do their own tests, and the results this time say, nope, this thing is 2,000 years old. It's not fake at all. It's ancient. What? So eventually the experts will get together and go, okay, this is dumb. Let's take it to Eppendorf University and have it properly tested, and not just tested, crack the thing open like a delicious Kinder Surprise. So this new set of experts gets to work, and when they open up the mummy... All right, remember how we said that the bones were covered in a special type of foil or metal plating? Well, it turns out the scientists didn't quite get that right. Instead, the bones were sprayed with a metallic chemical that prevented X-rays from going through. The bones were made from plastic. Or at least, the body was. Turns out, the skull is real. Yes, a real skull, and not from an ancient mummy, but from a 20th century man. However, it was not a murder. This skull is from a cadaver, and it was medically prepared for educational purposes. And what about that arrowhead? Well, it turns out that that's from a children's toy. Someone just popped that in the eye socket as a joke. So finally, the mystery was solved. It's just a plastic
Waste of
skeleton with
fucking
a
time.
real dead guy's head put on.
And money. How much
how does that
money
solve
did
the
they waste
mystery?
on that?
Anyway, so Lutz was satisfied that the whole thing was fake and not a murder victim. Oh, let's put that back in the attic, he said very Germanly. But then, eine Bitte? Was ist das? He says. Another box? The Book of the Dead? Well, that sounds like a fun read. So Lutz starts reading the ancient Egyptian out loud. Anaxunamun, Emoter, Brendan Fraser. And what happened next?
Did you hear that? He
Yes.
almost laughed.
Fuck you. And make for a very good thumbnail.
But I never thought. Oh my god, so much money got wasted on that.
Germans being
there, chap.
Germans.
You're probably wondering why I'm out here on this park bench.
No.
Sometimes I just come
I would
to
kill to
see
be on
the
that park
autumn
bench in that
leaves.
weather.
Winter will be
That's
here
how my
soon.
park looks like in autumn.
Dust in the wind.
Not that unusual if we walk around the forest. We just don't have a bench.
Truth is, sport, I have a highly contagious respiratory disease. I won't be around much longer. Dust in the wind.
Oh, the poor leaves.
I'm like Willy Wonka from that movie. And you're like that ugly kid from the Willy Wonka movie who gets all his stuff. Or the Oompa Loompa, I don't know, I haven't seen it. The point is you're so close to being fancy. I can feel it. There's
Yes,
just
wait.
one lesson left to learn.
Yes.
Anyway, speaking of ancient Egypt, here's this ancient Egyptian gun. Franz Ferdinand, what are you doing
Gun.
here? Of course,
Yeah.
he's not the real Franz Ferdinand. He's a mummy. Now, the thing about the ancient Egyptian gun is that it's very Oh. I hit
He's
your
a
congratulations
murderer.
for being somewhat fancy, Cake. Come on, Mr. Ferdinand. We gotta clean this up before the Park Services Commission hears about this, and they make another complaint. Right, we're almost done with the series, and then it's back to the
Park
usual
Services?
content. So in case you missed it, there's also drinking
Wait.
on
I
Incognito.
want to.
A new story
You
mode
guys have
out
park
next week.
services?
And if you like
Yeah, people who come and clean up the park and stuff.
Wait, you don't have it to do it yourself?
No, we
Or
like our
just live with it?
we like our parks clean. So every three times a week, people will come and clean the park. Like they will go to benches and garbage cans and pick up all the trash and stuff. That's pretty normal.
Well, we got services that empty out the garbage cans once in a while, but most of the time that everything that lays on the ground just stays there until someone else picks it up.
No, we take very, very care of our parks for some fucking reason. So our parks are pretty clean.
Well, you gotta, especially the city, you guys gotta just take care of the nature, the little nature you have.
Little? I'm pretty sure our country is way bigger than yours.
Yeah, but I meant in the cities.
In the cities, we don't have.
Didn't you listen?
Yeah. Every city has a park. Just remember that.
Yes, but you gotta take care of that one park you got.
No, we can always make a new one. It's not that hard.
Yeah, we are sick of this park. Time to make a new one.